I'm Andrew Doyle. I'm a writer and comedian, and I'm in Scotland to meet a man who was convicted in a court of law for telling a joke. In April 2016, Markus Meechan was working in a call centre just outside Glasgow and spending his free time making memes and YouTube skits. But his life was turned upside down when he made a video in which he taught his pug, Buddha, to do a Nazi salute and respond to the phrase, "Gas the Jews." He was arrested by the police, convicted of being grossly offensive, and labelled far-right in the media. He was criminalised and shamed for telling an off-colour joke. Spiked decided to find out about the man behind the meme. Quite excited. I've never met a Nazi pug before, or any Nazi dogs. There was a Nazi dog in World War II. There was a Finnish guy, actually, who had a dog, and that did a little salute as well, and the Gestapo got really upset about it. They arrested him. But they didn't take it forward. They didn't actually go all the way. The Scottish police, on the other hand, they don't let this stuff go. Hello.
Alright, man.
Hiya, how are you? How's it going?
I'm alright, man. Come on in.
Thank you. Hello. Buddha. And who's the new one?
That's Bronson.
You should call him Goebbels. You see, this is the same with the real Third Reich. They were very responsive to treats. When you made the video with Buddha, you had, what, 8 subscribers?
Yeah.
So no one was going to see this?
No. My original plan was, like, see me and Sue, we would have date nights where we would sit and just, like, watch videos on YouTube on the couch together. So, like, I made the video and I was going to put it on YouTube. And then when we were sitting watching YouTube videos, I was going to go, I've got a great video that we should watch. And then I would play it in front of her, and like obviously she would freak out and get a reaction.
I'm just going to re-watch the video.
My girlfriend is always ranting and raving about how cute and adorable her wee dog is. And so I thought I would turn them into the least cute thing that I could think of, which is a Nazi. Do you want to gas the Jews? Do you want to gas the Jews? Do you want to gas the Jews? Gas the Jews?
Ausgekehlt wurde von dem leichten Zeug, das sie für die einzubinden begann. Heute müssen wir...
Sieg heil! Sieg heil! Sieg heil! I'm not a racist, by the way. I just really wanted to piss her off. Jews.
This is absurd. It's so clearly a joke. So clearly a joke. You might find it offensive, you might find it distasteful. A man's been convicted. I just despair.
I thought, like, no one's going to stumble across this, but just in case they do, and they just find a video with no context and it's just me saying gas the Jews at my dog. Yeah. I was like, I don't want to risk that, so I put the context in going, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it. It's just a joke.
So you would have thought that would protect you. Markus's YouTube moniker is Count Dankula, a nod to the strange, subversive and often offensive world of internet culture, in which people delight in making and sharing dank memes, jokes and skits designed to get a reaction from us so-called normies.
Racist.
This is what they call shit posting.
Dank is sort of in a way where it's made badly, but on purpose. Rubbish camera angles and all that type of stuff as well. But like,
it can't look too slick, can it? So you call yourself a professional shit poster?
I mostly do it to get a triggered reaction. For example, if you post something that's not like directly racist, you're not really attacking any kind of race or anything like that, but you know that people will be able to easily make that implication because a lot of people do that nowadays.
How did it go viral?
Someone found it somehow and actually posted it to Reddit, and then from there it just went off. But the problem with that was, see, while all that happened, I was actually on the plane to Iceland, not realising that the entire time back home my life's been ruined.
It was that quick?
Yeah, it wasn't until the next day. I woke up, connected to the hotel Wi-Fi, and then loads and loads of messages, my phone went insane, and then Sue was like, why are the press at the door? There was people that were trying to say as well that the reason I made the video was to secretly spread Nazi propaganda. Like,
what, with that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you were spreading Nazi propaganda with that. So, I mean, actual Nazis wouldn't thank you for training a dog to... It's mocking their leader, right?
This is the sort of disconnect that everybody has. Joking about terrible things is not the same as being happy those things happened. Comedy disarms horrific things. It makes them a lot less scary.
It's a pug. It's a pug doing a Nazi salute. And I can't believe that a trial took place and that grown adults actually sat in that court and took this seriously. Markus is one of thousands of people who have been caught up in the British state's attempts to crack down on offensive online speech. While hate speech laws have existed for decades in Britain, investigations into online speech have recently skyrocketed. According to an investigation by the Times of London in 2017, in Britain, an average of 9 people a day are being arrested for things they post online.
The cops came to my door.
Yeah.
I let them in.
Yeah.
And they went, why don't you explain to us what happened, which is a trap, if the police ever say that to you.
Okay.
I basically says it was just a prank, I did it to annoy my girlfriend, etc, etc, and they went, okay then, we're here to arrest you. And I just sort of laughed and went, all right then.
It must feel like a joke.
Yeah, like I couldn't believe it was happening.
So then they handcuffed you, right?
Yeah, handcuffed me as well, because I'm a dangerous man. Very.
Yeah, I mean, I'm nervous. That if an army of pugs are going to come over the hill. You were handcuffed, taken out, and the press were there.
The press were waiting outside the house for me.
So you ended up at Coatbridge police station.
I got processed where I get fingerprinted and all that type of stuff, but I didn't get interviewed, you just get put straight into a cell.
Okay.
And then it was the next morning. As I was getting led onto the prisoner transport van, I actually seen my pal through one of the windows. So it's like, oh, how you doing, man? Like that, like, funny meeting you here.
What was he in for? Teaching cats to dance or something?
No, he slashed somebody with a machete.
Okay, so there's the... So you've trained the dog, and he's slashed a face with a machete.
Yeah.
I would suggest those aren't comparable, really.
No, not really, no. I was sitting in the cell, I was catching up with my pal, and eventually it got around to the whole, you know, what you in for thing as it's going around, and like this one guy like violated his bail conditions, one guy assaulted his girlfriend, one guy attacked the police with a knife, and then it got to me, and I just sort of had to sit there like I made a meme. Everyone just started laughing at me.
I'll bet.
Even my friend like turned around to me and went, see if you do go to jail, don't tell people that.
So you weren't really aware you were committing a crime or potentially committing a crime?
I didn't know what I was doing was illegal at all. No, well, I didn't know it was against the law.
Yeah. He was specifically found guilty of violating the 2003 Communications Act, Section 127, which stipulates that you are not allowed to send by means of electronic communication a grossly offensive message or a material that is likely to cause gross offence.
See, some of the scary things about the Act itself is it says grossly offensive, right? That's something that is completely subjective, right? Something that I might find offensive, you might find completely fine, or someone else might think it's the most horrible thing they've ever heard of.
If you're going to legislate that, if you're going to put into law, no, grossly offensive is against the law, but nobody can agree on what grossly offensive means.
Exactly.
Where are we at? But this is what I don't get with your case, because the video got seen 3 million times and there wasn't a single complaint, am I right?
Yeah.
And then the police took this video to the Scottish Council of Jewish Communities and said, do you find this offensive? I mean, I would assume they would. I mean, I guess that's the point. Yeah,
the police went to the Scottish Council of Jews because Ephraim Borowski, who was the guy who gave evidence at my trial, he's basically, when it comes to the police, he's their guy. Every single Jewish person that I have spoken to is extremely pissed off that basically this man was allowed to speak on their behalf.
Do you accept that a Jewish person would find it offensive?
Yeah, they're allowed to find it offensive. Like, the only thing I was asking for people to do was to recognise it as a joke, not find the joke funny.
When did we become so literal-minded that we take jokes at face value? When did that happen? Why did the chicken cross the road? Well, there was no chicken, there was no road. That's how a joke works. It isn't a literal representation of the truth. And a comedian doesn't literally say what they actually think, because if they did that, it wouldn't be funny.
The court at the end of it could have given me an even harsher sentence because I was advocating genocide.
This makes no sense at all, particularly because the police had investigated your background.
Everything.
Emails, everything you've ever said and done.
Cybercrime intelligence were on it as well, which means that pretty much probably every single online account that I have ever had like, is most likely been raked right through.
So the sole evidence for your willingness to gas the Jews is you saying it to a dog on a comedy skit.
The video was clear, the context was clear of the video. The prosecutor legitimately said, we are allowed to ignore specific contextual parts of the evidence.
But then you're not getting the joke.
So what he had to do was basically go, he said gas the Jews. We have no evidence whatsoever of any far-right leanings or anything. All we can do is guess the thoughts that were in his head when he made the video.
Yeah.
He tried to say that I was actually advocating for violence. Picture football stadiums full of people, full of so many people, and he wants to gas them. That's literally like the examples he was given. The examples were so ridiculous that people had to walk out of the courtroom from laughing.
But what gets me about that is in court, the prosecutors must have said the phrase gas the Jews multiple times.
The prosecutor during the trial said the phrase gas the Jews more times than I ever have in my entire life.
So if we're going to ignore context, which is what the prosecutors asked us to do,
Yeah.
that context doesn't matter, it's just the phrase itself, how are they not in court right now?
He's looking at 10 years at least.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that he gets it. You can't keep going around saying that stuff. Markus was found guilty on the 19th of March 2018 at Airdrie Sheriff's Court. He managed to escape jail time, but was issued an £800 fine. By then, he had become a hate figure for some and a free speech cause célèbre for others. A joke is all about context. If you remove the context from a joke, then you're screwed. I mean, let's think about this. That phrase, gas the Jews, is a horrible phrase, obviously. It's a horrible phrase if it's meant literally. If it's being taught to a pug, that changes it. That's actually kind of funny. But few comedians seem to think so. While some stand-ups, including Ricky Gervais, David Baddiel and Shappi Khorsandi, defended Markus's right to free speech,
that is a funny dog to make do that.
It is, and also, because of the proportions, it must be harder for him to get his little leg above his head.
most were either silent or against him.
They'll even abandon their own principles if it means a chance at virtue signalling.
So you don't believe them? You don't think that these people think you're a Nazi?
No, I don't think they truly believe that.
So a lot of comedians are saying, well, he's not a real comedian because he's not professional, he's not good enough. I mean, is that enough to convict someone?
I know, it's just, I didn't really realise there was all these sort of like requirements. I didn't know there was like a comedians guild where there are certain factors that you have to meet. Like,
we're very insular.
If there's comedians saying that my joke was shit, then they thought it was shit. That's completely fine. But to try and say that I shouldn't be allowed to make the joke.
But I mean, also defending free speech, you rarely have to defend free speech of people who aren't controversial.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no point. And it's actually hard, isn't it? It's harder to stand up and say, I don't like what that guy said, I don't find it funny, I find it offensive, but I need to defend his right to say it.
But what people are supposed to do when there's opinions out there that you don't like or you feel would be damaging, you're supposed to debate them.
But a lot of people say that comedians can say what they want. That if you go to various comedy clubs in the country, people do make jokes about taboo subjects. People are out there saying controversial things.
Yeah.
And I think I agree with that. I think that is going on. But I worry that things like your case make people self-censor or encourage people to think again and to not experiment with things for fear of causing offence. We keep running into people who recognise Markus and they really like what he does. They like his YouTube videos, they liked the pug video. Was the joke funny?
Hilarious.
Aye. Real funny.
I'm sorry, but it was absolutely fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
It's funny as fuck. Like, I thought it was funny. I know people who are Jewish who thought it was funny.
but you're laughing. Oh, you're both laughing. You see now.
It's a joke and you shouldn't be getting caught off for a joke.
So for all the media coverage, all of the negative depiction of him as a far-right agitator, ordinary people can just see through it. They don't buy any of that. I went to meet some of Markus's friends and fellow YouTubers in the woods where they film some of their shit posts. What kind of videos were you doing at the time of the pug video?
As Markus would call them, they are shitposts.
Yeah.
They were just making
They are shit posts, Stuart.
See if you put effort into something, right? If you're writing a script, it's hardly a shitpost. Well, it's not just pissing people off. I mean, it's just things we find funny.
Right, okay.
It's things that would make our friends laugh.
But some of the friends Markus made in the wake of his arrest have raised eyebrows. Tommy Robinson, former leader of the anti-Islam English Defence League and self-styled YouTube journalist, took up Markus's cause.
The attack on free speech, you are part of it.
I suppose just saying an edgy comedian made a joke and posted it online wouldn't sell enough papers though, would it? Aye.
They shared a platform at a free speech rally in London, and they appeared together on Alex Jones's conspiratorial online channel, InfoWars. For his detractors, Markus's association with right-wing populists cast suspicion on his own politics and intentions. Most of the people I talk to, when I'm trying to defend your right to make your funny video, they always say, yeah, but he must be a racist because he's mates with Tommy Robinson.
See, just because you interact with someone or hang about with them doesn't mean you automatically share every single opinion that they have. No one else was supporting me. A few mainstream comedians did come out.
Yeah.
Basically, I do still appreciate the support, but the most they did was a tweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a couple of articles and stuff like that. Nobody else major was on my side. The only person that really came out was people like Tommy Robinson and Alex Jones.
Like if you're hanging out with Alex Jones and Tommy Robinson and they're the only people you're seen with, weren't you worried that that means people are going to think, oh well, he's part of the EDL, he's super hyper nationalist, he's anti-Islam, all of that sort of stuff?
Well, if the people want to just believe that and not do any of their own research, there's nothing I can do.
Is there anything you wouldn't joke about?
Publicly, aye. Privately,
publicly.
What's the most offensive thing you've ever said?
Oh God. Oh Jesus Christ.
They're really nice guys. They're definitely not far right. I think it's really easy to demonise people if you never interact with them. They're young people who, for whatever reason, feel like they're on the outskirts of society. They're just big kids messing about. Why are we criminalising that? Defending free speech usually means defending the rights of deeply offensive people. But the curious case of the Nazi pug reminds us that, in Britain at least, that is no longer the case. The targets of state censorship today are not just far-right agitators trying to divide us, but ordinary people like Markus trying to have a laugh. His story is one of a supposedly liberal Britain that has gone down a dark and authoritarian road. What do you say to people who say you're an alt-right figurehead?
I'm not even in the alt-right. The alt-right don't even like me. I don't.
That's not a club you want to be a member of?
Not something I want to be a part of, no. They are overall very anti-freedom.
You don't support an ethno-state?
No.
You're not racist?
No.
Right, fat boy. Give me it.
Do you regret anything?
No. I think it's just what happened to me. Although it was terrible, it was quite an awful thing to go through, it did highlight a really, really important problem that our country's actually facing. I understand that the phrase "gas the Jews" wasn't exactly the rallying cry that everyone wanted to get behind in the fight for freedom of speech, but what has happened is a lot bigger than me. Because I mean, if it can happen to some internet shit poster, it can happen to anyone.
Oh, someone's just posted a meme.